everyone. So as mentioned in my earlier videos, like I will be creating a new series of videos where I will be giving you brief description, details, demo, maybe use cases or some exam related questions. So you can totally understand what a service is as offered by Google Cloud. And also I will try to prepare you guys so you can appear in associate level exams of GCP, and also prepare the base for architect level exams of GCP. So this video is all related to those approach, and I will be covering each and every services one by one. There actually, there are multiple GCP services, around 200 or 300 GCP services are there, and it's growing, exponentially. So it's impossible to cover each and every, service, but I will try to cover each service in each category. So it will be like give you a whole idea like how things works in GCP, and also give you a whole mapping and connection in your mind, so you can clear your associate exams as well. So when I was preparing for my associate exam, so I was aware about AWS, Azure. I was somehow aware about GCP as well, but was not much familiar of it. But I went through multiple documentations, GCP videos available and provided by Google Cloud. So all those are very vast and very large. So it's difficult to choose a one from that and prepare a very pinpointed way of preparation is very difficult. So yeah, there are some online tutorials as well that give such precise information about the services that are required to clear associate exam. But they lack in that, because you are investing a lot, around 30 hours, or some people may spend 1 month, 2 month, or maybe 3 months in covering those videos, understanding the services. But those videos lack in giving information about other services as well, because let's see, I am studying compute services in GCP. So while we are studying compute services, is it not possible anyone can teach like AWS or Azure services related to compute? Because compute is similar in everywhere. It's just how they approach to get that compute thing running. So once you understand GCP compute, it's very easy to understand AWS and Azure. So what I will try, I will give you all information related to GCP, but also give you a quick recap, or I will not say recap, but a quick overview for AWS, like how AWS is doing this, how Azure is doing this. So when you are spending 3 months or any hours in going through my videos, you also preparing for AWS and Azure as well, like you will have some idea, so that's my approach. So let's start. So as I mentioned you, like I will be explaining the services, giving you example of the services, if possible demos as well. Then I will cover some use cases, like how these services are used, so you understand, and it will help in creating a scenario in your mind and later solving questions and examinations. And also mentioned as well, like I will try to compare or give some quick overview, like if this service is working in GCP, what is a similar service that is available in AWS. So you will having two learnings simultaneously. Okay, so let's start. So our first video will be region and zones. So these region and zones are very what I can say, a foundation of any GCP service. Like any GCP service that you come across in this tutorial will all be created, deployed in specific regions, specific zones. So understanding zones and regions is very important. So what is a region? So as definition says, a specific geographical location where GCP resources are hosted. So it says like a region or a geographical location can be Europe, can be America, can be Asia. Like these are some geographical locations, and these geographical locations are then divided in zones. So let's say uh, Europe, or let's say US is a region, and then that region is divided into zones like US Central 1A, US Central 1B, and so on. Like maybe generally there are at least 3 zones available, and maybe in future it could increase, but for now for any specific region there is 3 zone available. So when we talk about region, so it's about it's like a country. Let's say for example, let's take it as a use case. So let's say you are running an application in North America, and let's say you have only one data center, or you are running your application for only one specific location, and God forbid earthquake or any natural calamity, or maybe it could be a network failure, anything can happen, then you'll all services that is running on that location will go down, and you will not be able to run any of your services in that case. So it's like a downturn for you, and anyone who is running a high value or high traffic service or application, they don't want this to happen. They will lose their customers, and customers are all about money. So they will be losing a huge chunk of money, and anyone don't want to this to be happen. So what cloud provides you, or GCP specifically provides you, it provides you with multiple regions. So your services, your running service, your running infrastructure will not be confined to one single location. It will be in multiple locations. It can be in 3 different regions in US Central 1, US Central 2. Okay, so now what you did, now you have distributed your whole architecture. So let's say if region US Central 1 goes down, you still have 2 regions running. So it's not like you will be losing your customers. The traffic, the load will be diverted to these 2 running instances of your application in 2 different regions. So this is how it works. Then to strengthening further this approach, there is a concept of zone. So it's not about regions only, it is now going in down to zones. So let's say there is US Central 1 region, then there are 3 more specific zones in it. So it will be US Central 1A, B and C. So now your instance is running in 3 different zones as well. So it's like 3 zones in one region. So 3 instances, 3 replicas. Then if let's say there is US Central 2, then US Central 2 has 3 more zones. So it's like 6 locations you are running, and so now your application, your running instance is very available. It's impossible. It really rarely happens like everything goes down. Okay, so this is a next level of your more providing your application more high availability. Okay, so I think you now understand how regions and zones are designed. Okay, so further there is one more concept, that is cluster. So cluster is you can explain cluster as like a distinct physical infrastructure. So multiple infrastructures that are specifically placed other than in zones to give more availability. So it's one more step ahead than zones to provide you more redundancy, more availability. So this is how it's all designed. Okay, so if I can show you some visual representation. So this is a quick visual representation, as I mentioned. So you can say this representation of regions and zones has multiple reasons, and one of the reasons you see here is your central, and it has multiple zones, and this one zone represent architecture placed inside with VMs and database. So this architecture you are seeing here is kind of a multi-zone architecture. So when any of this zone gets disconnected or fail, then other zones listed at the right side will pick up and serve the service. So this is how a region and zones are used to prepare a very robust architecture in GCP. So when we try to compare it with AWS, or not, I will say comparison, I would say similar thing in AWS. Then AWS also have regions and zones as well. So they both have similar thing. It's not like it's different than GCP, because once you understand GCP, it's not a difficult thing to understand AWS, or if you know AWS, it's not difficult thing to understand GCP. Okay, so this is how it's designed. Let's move ahead with some other things. As I mentioned, I will also cover some cases and exam point of view things. So maybe you will be asked with questions like how to reduce latency. So you can design more robust infrastructure, and that could lead to placing your applications very carefully in zones and in regions. So anything, if any calls happens, will not take much duration to give you response. Maybe you can use CDNs. It's a different altogether service. I will explain in upcoming videos, but you can use CDNs, carefully placing your instances in proper zones and regions. How your disaster recoveries can be designed. So I already mentioned how disaster recoveries can be done using regions and zones. So these are all questions that come across in your examination. Multi regions, you understand, like placing your application in multiple regions. You can also place your application in different zones, but sometime what happens, like there is a zonal failure. So if, let's say, if one zone is down, then two other zones are still available to serve your application. If there is a regional failure, then all your zones are down. Then there is multiple, if it's a multi-region architecture, then other region will pick up the request and serve to the client. So this is how these architectures are designed to give you more availability, and redundancy. So it's a small overview of how regions, zones are designed to work. So I think I have covered all of the possible aspects of regions and zones. So this is all about this video. Let's meet in our next video. Till then, thanks everyone. Goodbye.